All right, let's jump right in. You've probably heard about this. It's a huge trend in home building right now. The unvented, spray-foamed attic. I mean, the promise is amazing, right? Incredible energy efficiency. But, and this is a big but, it comes with some really serious hidden risks. So that's the big question we're going to tackle. Is your attic a fortress saving you money, or is it secretly a perfect little moisture trap waiting to cause big problems?
You know, this one sentence really says it all. It's the most important thing to get your head around. See, in a normal, old-school vented attic, you've got airflow, and that helps everything dry out. But the second you seal it up, you completely change the rules of the game. You've basically created a sealed box at the top of your house, and what happens inside that box? Well, that's what we're about to break down.
The sales pitch is so good, isn't it? Contractors will tell you, hey, this is going to work just like a thermos, locking in all that cool air you paid for in the summer and all the warm air in the winter. And look, on paper, the math is brilliant. But here's the thing, a house isn't a thermos. It's a complex breathing system. And if you seal it up without a real plan, you could be setting yourself up for disaster.
So, to really understand what's going on, we have to talk about the invisible forces at work here. And this isn't just someone's opinion. This is straight-up physics. Once you get a handle on these forces, you'll see exactly why these unvented attics have to be engineered so carefully.
First on the list is something called the stack effect. It's simple, really. Just like a hot air balloon, warm air in your house rises. But that air isn't just warm, it's also carrying moisture from everything you do, making pasta, taking a shower, even just breathing. So you have this warm, moist air constantly moving up, pushing against your ceiling.
And here's where the problem starts. When you spray foam that roof deck, you're essentially putting a tight lid on a jar. Now all that rising moisture hits the foam and it's trapped. It's got nowhere to go. So it just concentrates all that humidity right at the peak of your roof, exactly where you don't want it.
But wait, moisture doesn't just come from the inside. We also have to worry about solar drive. Picture this. It rains, and then the sun comes out and just starts beating down on your dark shingles. They get crazy hot, right? Well, that heat creates this massive vapor pressure that literally shoves moisture from the wet shingles down straight into the wood of your roof. And this creates what experts call the sandwich effect, which is just as bad as it sounds. Moisture gets pushed into the wood from the outside by the sun, but it can't dry to the inside because, bam, it hits that wall of spray foam. It's trapped in a moisture sandwich. And over time, this can turn the wood structure of your roof into total mush, and you would have no idea it's even happening because the foam is hiding all the damage. Okay, the last piece of this physics puzzle is the dew point. The easiest way to think about this is a cold can of soda on a hot, humid day. It starts sweating, right? That's condensation. Well, the exact same thing can happen in your attic. If the inside surface of your roof gets cold enough in the winter, all that moisture we've been talking about, the stuff trapped in the air, it's going to condense on it, turning from an invisible gas back into liquid water.
So we've got moisture rising up from inside the house, and we've got moisture being driven down from the outside. Now let's look at the crime scene. Let's see what happens when all these forces come together and cause some real-world problems, from hidden rot to, believe it or not, serious health risks.
Now the kind of foam that's used makes a huge difference. Open cell foam is the soft, spongy kind. The risk there is that moisture from inside your house can actually pass right through it and then condense on that cold roof deck. Closed cell foam, on the other hand, is like a waterproof barrier. It blocks that inside moisture, which sounds great, but if you get a roof leak from the outside, it traps that water right against the wood, hiding the rot completely. So you see, each one is its own little game of risk management.
And you know what comes with moisture, right? Mold. Mold only needs 3 simple things to thrive. In a sealed attic, you've got the first 2 covered. Number 1, a food source, all that wood. Number 2, a comfy temperature, since the attic is now kind of part of the house. So that leaves number 3, moisture. And that's the key takeaway here. Moisture is the one and only variable that you can actually control. Manage the water, and you win the game.
And this isn't just about rotting wood. This is about your family's health. See, in an unvented attic, that space is now part of your home's living environment. If your air conditioner or furnace is up there, it can suck in any mold spores that are growing and blow them directly into your living room, your kitchen, your bedrooms. The health of your attic is now directly connected to the health of your family. It's a big deal. Okay, enough of the doom and gloom. Let's talk about solutions. This isn't about being paranoid, it's about being smart and proactive. So here's a simple, practical checklist that any homeowner can use to stay way ahead of these problems. First things first, use your own senses. Go up into your attic every so often. What do you see?
Are there dark water stains on the wood? If it's winter, look at the tips of the roofing nails poking through the sheathing. Do you see any frost on them? And then trust your nose. Does it smell musty or damp? That's a huge red flag. And a really weird one, a fishy smell often means the spray foam chemicals weren't mixed right, which is a serious problem.
Okay, next up, and honestly, this is the most critical thing you can do. You have to monitor what you can't see. And it's so easy. You can get a simple remote hygrometer for like 20 bucks. You just toss the little sensor unit up in the attic, and you keep the display screen somewhere you'll see it every day, like on the kitchen counter. And just like that, you've got a real-time window into what's happening up there.
This number, I want you to brand this number into your memory. 60%. This is your absolute limit. This is your red line.
Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to keep the relative humidity in that attic below 60%, always, no exceptions. Ideally, you really want it down in that sweet spot between 45 and 50%. If you see that number on your little display start creeping up towards 60 or, heaven forbid, higher, that's not a suggestion. That's an alarm bell telling you there's a moisture problem that you need to solve now, before it causes real damage.
You know, I love this analogy because it just hits the nail on the head. Think about it. You would never, ever drive a car without a dashboard, right? You need to know your speed if you're running out of gas. Well, that little hygrometer, that's the dashboard for your attic. It's a tiny investment that stops you from flying completely blind and lets you take control of your home's health.
Now, a really well-designed system will have some more advanced stuff built in. This could be things like integrating the attic with your HVAC system by adding small supply and return vents to help circulate the air. If you live somewhere super humid, a whole house dehumidifier is often a must. And for safety's sake, you should always make sure the foam is covered by a special fire-resistant coating called an ignition barrier.
So what's the bottom line here? It's this. An unvented attic can be an incredible fortress of efficiency. It absolutely can, but only if it's designed, installed, and managed as a complete system. If any shortcuts were taken, it turns into a perfect trap fast. The good news is you now have the checklist to go find out which one you've got.